All right, welcome back. We're glad to be back talking to you guys. We've missed you. We've been wanting to do a podcast for a while now, but we've had so much going on that I haven't really anything done. So this week's not a full podcast, just kind of an update and catch up to what's going to be happening in the future and what you can be looking forward to starting next Tuesday for the podcast, and maybe a little information about the other channels that we do, just so you guys can keep in the loop about what's going on, and so you know what to expect from here on out. Yeah. So, all right, currently, guess what state we're in? Put in a comment, and I'll tell you at the very end. So we are traveling around up and down the East Coast right now, and so we started in North Carolina and we went up. So narrows down your guessing a little bit. We just want to give you guys a little update right now about what we're going or what we've been doing and how our last. I guess we haven't posted in almost over a month.
Yeah,
now,
it's been over a month.
Over a month. So what we've been doing in that month, we've been very busy. We've not always been skipping out, and we just have had so much to do that's been hard to focus on writing podcasts. So anyway, so now we have time to focus on writing podcasts and are in a much more, I wouldn't just say comfortable, but a more ready position to write podcasts. So
yeah, and less noise.
Sure, less noise in life and physically. But you probably are hearing right now, you're probably hearing
Bo's tile scratching.
Cleaning himself right beside the camera because he's decided that
that's the best place in the whole van.
This is where he wants to clean, right here beside the camera. So, and we are currently in the van, in the state that we're in, and like I said, when we talk about how the podcast is going to look in the future at the end, I'll let you know about how you can expect the videos to look for the podcast. So, let's start with where we've been. So we've been finishing the van. That's basically what we've been doing. We spent our first night in the van on 4/9, and that was when we first introduced it to Bo. And so we kind of waited to get into the van until Bo could be in the van, and we needed a place for Bo to sleep and for ourselves to sleep. And so we had to get a bed in here, and that was the first night we got a bed in here, and we were like, well, let's just sleep in here because we already had power. We had we didn't have water in the van yet, but our water worked. We had our oven, we had our refrigerator, so pretty much had everything.
We had cushions too for him to sleep.
And we had cushions in here, so we pretty much had everything we needed to be moved in the van, except for our solar panels and some other things that we had to finishing touches. So that was 4/9. And then on 4/23 is when we actually finished the van. We did an overnight, all-nighter. Patterson stayed up the whole night. I slept for 2 or 3, 4 hours, something like that.
Yeah.
And then we finished it that morning. So, all right. So after that,
we zoomed to the middle of North Carolina. So I have a twin brother, if anyone didn't know that. And our birthday was...
No, you do now.
Our birthday was April 17th, and we were going to celebrate that with family that weekend. So we wanted to have the van finished so we could see... We had been living up near Dalton's family, so they were able to see the van. We were able to say bye to them during that. But then we went to Central North Carolina to see my family and show them the van because they hadn't seen it fully finished yet. And so we celebrated our birthdays, and we basically pulled that all-nighter and then just went straight there.
Yeah, and Bo thinks that we are watching him right now clean himself, so that's awesome. He thinks this is a viewing section for Bobo where he gets to sit here and we get to watch him clean, but we're actually looking at the camera. It's very funny.
Pause.
So the day before we moved up or went up to see her family, which was our official leaving, I guess, departure, we had to move all of our stuff out of everyone's house that we were keeping our stuff from Louisville in. And so we had to move it into our container, which you guys have seen that. If you've seen the other channel, you know we have a container, a shipping container that we're going to turn into a tiny home. And most of the stuff was in my grandma's house, and then some of it was in my parents' house. And we had to build out a room inside of there that was for kind of climate control, but really moisture control. And so we built that in like a day. That. Yeah, we well.
Dalton built it all by himself.
Yeah, in like a day, and then got that all sealed off so we could put some valuable stuff in there. And then Patterson and my grandma finished the bed cushions
Yeah,
for the bed.
That was actually cool. We repurposed blackout curtains because that material is really durable, and we just ripped out all the seams of all of them and just had like the clean slate of a big piece of fabric and put them on the memory foam mattress because it was 6 inches. It's 6 inches, and we cut it into 2 pieces, and we needed it to be durable because we have to kind of move them around a lot to access our under storage. We can access the solar and the like some stuff away storage, and it's so much easier to move them now. So that was a really exciting time that took. She hand sewed the very end of all of it. She's a trooper, but
yeah,
that was good.
Really, what happened is Patterson helped prepare material, and the next day I had to use her to help unload all the stuff into the container. And so there was a lot left to be done on the last cushion, and my grandma basically did it all. So
yeah.
we owe her a lot.
All I did was cut all the fabric and lay it out on top, bottom,
Which
and all
she
the
says
pieces.
all she did was cut it. That was the bulk of the work.
Getting the seams out was the most
that was the bulk
taxing
of the
part.
work.
Yeah.
So she did the bulk of the work, and then my grandma was able to help
She did
finish
so good, yeah.
finish the cushions off. So then after we did that, we had to pack all our stuff in the container, and so we moved to basically a whole house full of stuff in one day.
Mm-hmm.
And then that night, we had still stuff left to do. We had to finish the front door. We had a bunch of stuff we had left to do. So we did all of that, and Patterson packed the whole van.
Mm-hmm.
And then
it was hard locating things like our spice racks in here. We couldn't remember I couldn't remember where I put the spices, and so we had to locate the spices. We had to locate like our knife set. We had to locate a bunch of random different things. While moving it out of a house into a trailer, from the trailer to outside the container into the container, then into the room, and then kind of differentiating between valuables that need to go in the airtight space or like moisture control space, and then things that can stay out.
Yeah.
So it was a lot.
It was a lot of work and a little bit of time. So
yeah.
We got that done, and then we started going east, and so because we went to the coast, and we saw family along the way, like we mentioned.
Yes.
Stopping at my brother's was last, and then we started heading north, and we made it pretty far, and I won't tell you exactly how far we made it yet, because I want you guys to have a little guess at it. But we've went up a couple of states.
Yes.
And then we've learned, I guess we can talk about what we've learned, but we've learned how to sleep in parking lots.
Yes.
That allow us, and we stayed a day this Sunday at a park, and Bo got to run around and have fun, so that was cool.
He loved that. He climbed trees a lot while we were working on the van. Bo also became a shop kitty towards the end of the van.
Yeah.
He was able to, we left him on his leash. The kind of his routine when we get to new areas, we leave him on his leash. He has this tile that tracks him. We put him on his leash, let him run around after we kind of lead him around. Then we take the leash off, he stays close, and then he kind of ventures out. And if we can't find him, we just push the button on my phone, and then we can locate him that way, which is really nice. But he was able to explore in a close area that he was comfortable with, and he started climbing trees and jumping all around. He actually got in a tussle with another cat. Yes. Yeah, so he's grown.
He got whooped.
He got his little butt whooped, but he's healed and he's perfect now. But yeah, he's loving it. He loved the park the little spot we parked, and it was fun to watch him explore. They played some pine cone games, which was exciting for Bo. Then he slept. Oh, you played your first game on your PC?
Yeah.
That's a big step.
I guess, yeah. I played a game with my brother on the computer,
which was cool.
Yeah, it's just been a lot of traveling. Well, not a lot of traveling, just a lot of getting used to living in the van and getting things ready to begin doing podcasts again. Editing a lot of video for the van build itself, because you guys haven't seen a video on that in over 2 months, probably 2 or 3 months. So a new video is coming out for that soon. Probably today or tomorrow. I'll release a video onto our channel about that. And you guys get to see that, which is pretty cool. So, alright. So, talk about project Cracker Barrels. I did want to mention that. If you do camp or want to live in a van, Cracker Barrels are awesome. They let you pretty much camp there in every state, universally, and they have good breakfast and food. So
true.
That's awesome. All right. What else can we mention about our travel so far? I guess, and I'll mention now about where we've traveled.
Yeah.
So if your comments aren't before now, don't put one in now and be a liar. All right. So we met North Carolina coast. We went north, like I said. We went to Virginia, and we slept in a Walmart parking lot there.
Yes.
Then we took a ferry to Maryland.
Mm-hmm.
Did we? Yes, we did.
Yeah.
We did. No.
Wait, where'd we take it?
No. We took a bridge to Maryland. There's a big bridge to Maryland that goes above water and underwater. On North Carolina, when we were on our way up North Carolina, we stopped in Ocracoke. We rode the ferries there, and we slept in Ocracoke. And then we went to Virginia. We slept in a Walmart, waiting for the ferry, or waiting to go across the bridge. Then we went across the bridge. We got to Maryland, just for a little bit of time. We were in Maryland. Then we made to Delaware, which was my least favorite state so far. We slept the night there. And then on Sunday, we had to wait like all day to ride the ferry because they only did certain times. So then we took the ferry to New Jersey. And then through New Jersey, we went through New York City.
Wait, well, New Jersey was weird because it was like 8 o'clock and there was nobody on the road at all.
Yeah, New Jersey was weird. New Jersey was cool, though. We really liked New Jersey.
Yeah.
And then we went to New York City. We drove through New York City, which was a journey, and beat the van half to death because the roads are horrible.
The roads were bad.
Same for New Jersey. Your roads are bad, but then we made it to Connecticut.
Yes.
And that's where we're at right now.
Correct.
As we were sitting... Oh, God, I'm burpy. I was sitting in Connecticut. Today we'll probably ride through Rhode Island and then up through Massachusetts and then probably into New Hampshire and maybe into Maine today. We don't know. There'll probably be a lot of driving, but it kind of is worth it because there's nothing else to do in these areas.
Yeah, it's hard to find camping here that's just like BLM land or...
And we don't really like going to cities that much because the only thing to do there is spend money, and we're not spending a lot of money. So.
And Beauberry doesn't have a lot of play.
And Beau has nothing he can do, and so when we park, he just sits in here and gets bored and tired.
Do we take a ferry from North Carolina to Virginia?
No.
Didn't we take one from when we camped that night and thought we were going to get a knock? Our first night where we saw the horses.
It's Ocracoke, baby.
Didn't we take a ferry from Ocracoke to Virginia?
No. Took a ferry from Ocracoke to North Carolina.
It was North Carolina to North Carolina?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Alright, so let's wrap it up. We're just going to wrap it up because there's nothing else really we have to talk about today, other than the fact that you guys, we're talking about what we're going to be looking forward to in the future. So, through the trip, we've been blown away by just how glorious God has been to us and how gracious He's been to us, and the things He's just allowed to happen. Some cool stories have happened that we'll talk about next week, probably just kind of including those in our normal talks. And He's provided for us every day, just like our channel is called. He's providing the manna, just like they did for Moses in the desert. So we've been very thankful and very blessed, even though we're living in a van. It can be a blessing. So it's pretty cool. Yeah. And so we're just waiting for every day for God to sustain us and provide for us what we need. And just, like I said, we've already had multiple things that have happened that have just been very, very gracious blessings that we didn't deserve. And have been awesome. So, as we conclude, I'm going to talk about next week, what you can look forward to. So we're going to be doing the podcast as usual next week. Probably a little bit better than the last couple have been because we've been not able to spend much time creating the podcast, and so now we're going to be focusing on making good podcasts. And even if we miss a week, we'll be making sure that our podcast is up to quality instead of just being quantity, I guess. So we're going to be doing James, our recital of James, at the end of each episode instead of at the beginning of each episode. So if you want to hear that, watch towards the end, but we are going to keep doing that. So, and then we'll be reciting that every week, just as usual. We'll be starting the episode off with jumping into topics and short interviews. And you can hear something in the refrigerator, but anyway. We're doing short topics, or short introductions, and then jumping straight into the topics so we can get into the meat of things earlier into the podcast. And that'll start next week. And we may be doing, we've been talking about maybe doing interviews with people or having people that we meet places when we're camping, talking about different topics about faith and just seeing their view on them so that we can talk about the Christian view and the correct, truly the truthful view on the subjects. and just kind of have a little bit more interaction with people who don't believe like us, so that you can have understanding about what to do when you're faced with someone who doesn't believe like you. And this isn't going to become a interview to prove someone wrong channel. It's going to be just a talk to someone who doesn't believe like you do, so you can know how to be a good Christian influence to somebody when they don't know anything about Christ. So
yeah, and another thing too is we're gonna be, like today we are parked at a place that has a really nice view, but in the future we will be recording it live wherever we are. So like today we're in a parking lot and we probably shouldn't leave the van unattended, and you can't park here that long, so even though there's a good view, we decided to come inside. Right. So we'll be parking in a lot of great locations, so you guys will get to see wherever we are, and see like a beautiful backdrop wherever we are, and it'll be nice and visually appealing, so you can watch that on YouTube, or if you listen on Apple or Spotify or wherever you like to listen, you can always click the YouTube in the future if you just want to peep in and see. Yeah,
and you guys have already seen part of that in past podcasts before we started doing the meditations. You guys will get to see that into what we really were planning to do with it. We just kind of were testing it back then to see how it would turn out, and what it would kind of look like, and so it gave us a good beginning point to know what we want from those kind of podcasts. So just be looking forward to those, and you guys will see one Tuesday. So
yeah, we're learning and growing as we do this, and just finding cool ways and cool ideas that we think of and that the Lord places on our hearts, so that we can share them with y'all, and just keep doing all we can to trust the Lord and His plan.
Yep. All right, we'll see you guys next week.